I keep hearing this term, AGI, thrown around everywhere. Artificial General Intelligence. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but people are talking about it as if it's right around the corner. What exactly are we talking about here?
You're not wrong, Bob. It absolutely sounds like sci-fi, but that's precisely the point. AGI, or superintelligence as some call it, is essentially the holy grail of AI. We're talking about an AI capable of performing any cognitive task a human can do, even someone with a PhD. Think of it as a thinking machine that can learn, reason, solve problems, create, all at a human, or even superhuman, level.
Wow. So not just crunching numbers faster or recommending movies, but actually thinking like us? That's profound. And a little unsettling, to be honest. But is it real? Or just, hype?
That's where the debate gets really interesting and honestly pretty divisive. Experts are all over the map on the timeline. Elon Musk, for instance, thinks we could see AGI emerge within a year, whereas Mustafa Suleyman, the CEO of Microsoft AI, is giving it about a 10-year horizon. So the when is a huge question mark, but the what if is what has everyone, especially investors, really paying attention.
A year? 10 years? That's a massive difference. But okay, let's say it does happen, whether it's next year or next decade. How does something like that even begin to impact our economy? I mean, beyond just tech companies.
That's the million-dollar question, Bob. The consensus is that it will be a disruption on par with the internet in the 90s, if not even more transformative. It's not just about tech. It's about every sector that relies on human cognitive input. The way we work, live, invest, it all changes.
So, which sectors are on the front lines? Who's looking at an existential crisis if AGI truly takes off?
Well, traditional software publishers are definitely exposed. Think about it. If AGI can generate custom solutions instantly, how much value does a standardized product like Microsoft Office retain? Elon Musk even famously said that OpenAI will devour Microsoft from the inside. Companies like Alphabet, Salesforce, SAP, they all face similar risks if AGI can replicate or even improve upon their core services.
That's a pretty bold claim, especially coming from Musk. But it makes sense. If an AI can write code, design interfaces, and even optimize workflows from scratch, why would you need a suite of pre-built tools? It's like having a bespoke tailor for every digital need.
Exactly. And it extends beyond software. Professional services, for example, are highly vulnerable. Consulting firms like Accenture or Capgemini, research companies like Gartner, their entire business model is built on providing cognitive services, analysis, and strategic advice. If AGI can do that faster, cheaper, and with more accuracy, those roles could be heavily automated.
So basically, any job that involves processing information, analyzing data, or giving advice is on the chopping block. That's a huge chunk of the white-collar workforce. Financial intermediaries too, I imagine, right?
Absolutely. The financial sector is ripe for disruption. Services like Robinhood or even certain aspects of Bloomberg's offerings could be bypassed. Imagine an AGI providing ultra-personalized, real-time analytics and investment advice tailored to your exact risk tolerance and financial goals, all without human intervention. That's a game changer for individual investors and institutions alike.
Okay, so a lot of information-based companies and service providers are in the crosshairs. That sounds like a pretty grim outlook for a lot of established players. But what about the flip side? Are there any sectors or companies that are actually resilient or even poised to thrive in an AGI-dominated world?
Definitely. It's not all doom and gloom. There are entire categories of businesses that AGI, by its very nature, can't touch. Or, conversely, ones that will become indispensable because AGI needs them to function. Think about physical infrastructure, for example. Companies like NextEra Energy, which provides power, or utilities in general. AGI can't physically build a power plant or lay down cables. It needs real-world, tangible infrastructure.
That's a good point. AGI can think, but it can't lift a hammer or pour concrete. So anything with a physical presence, actual assets, like real estate.
Exactly. Real estate, commodities. Prologis, a huge player in logistics real estate, or ExxonMobil. AGI can't create warehouses. It can't extract oil from the ground. These are fundamental, physical assets that will always be in demand, regardless of how smart our machines become.
And I guess humans will still need to eat, right? So agri-food companies like Nestle, Coca-Cola, Walmart, those are probably safe bets?
You got it. Basic human needs aren't going anywhere. Food, water, shelter, these are resilient sectors. Nestle, Coca-Cola, Walmart will continue to be essential because, well, humans need to sustain themselves, AGI or not.
Okay, so physical world essentials are safe. What about the tech world itself? Are there winners there too, beyond the obvious AGI creators?
Absolutely, and these are arguably the biggest winners. Semiconductor manufacturers like NVIDIA, TSMC, and ASML, AGI will require unimaginable amounts of computing power. These companies provide the very brains and components that AGI systems will run on. Their demand will only skyrocket.
Right, the pickaxe sellers in the gold rush. Makes perfect sense. And all that computing power, all that data, it has to live somewhere, right? So cloud infrastructure providers?
Spot on. Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, these cloud giants will thrive. AGI needs enormous storage capacity, processing power, and the infrastructure to communicate and operate at scale. So while Microsoft's software might be at risk, its cloud arm, Azure, is poised for massive growth.
Interesting paradox there. And what about entertainment? Will AGI write all our movies and songs?
Maybe eventually, but entertainment companies like Walt Disney and Netflix are expected to retain their value, primarily due to their irreplaceable intellectual property. Think about Disney's catalog, the characters, the stories built over decades. AGI might be able to generate new content, but it can't replicate the cultural significance and brand loyalty attached to existing, beloved IPs.
Okay, so the general takeaway for investors seems to be favor companies with tangible, irreplaceable physical assets or those providing the fundamental infrastructure AGI needs to exist. And be very cautious of anything that's primarily about information intermediation or standardized cognitive services.
Precisely. It's a fundamental reevaluation of value, what's truly essential, and what can be infinitely replicated or surpassed by a superintelligent machine. That's the lens through which to view future investments.
That all makes a lot of sense, Jane. But I read another article, and it posed a really provocative question, calling AGI the most consequential conspiracy theory of our time. And it wasn't dismissing the tech outright, but rather the narrative around it. What's that about?
That's a fascinating angle, and it really gets to the heart of the hype cycle and the almost mystical way AGI is sometimes discussed in Silicon Valley. It's not saying AGI won't happen or isn't powerful. It's questioning the almost religious fervor, the exaggerated claims, and the lack of concrete definition around it.
Religious fervor? How so?
Well, think about it. You have figures like Ilya Sutskever, co-founder of OpenAI, reportedly leading chants of "Feel the AGI" at meetings. Then he leaves to found a startup focused on safe superintelligences because he finds the very technology he helped create terrifying. It's this mixed bag of it will cure all disease and usher in an age of abundance on one hand, and it will bring on the apocalypse and kill us all on the other.
So, extreme utopianism or extreme dystopianism, with nothing in between. That does sound a bit like other big moments in history.
Exactly. The article points out that many self-anointed AGI evangelists display this duality. Sam Altman talks about massively increased abundance and prosperity, even encouraging more children. Yet he, along with Dario Amodei and Demis Hassabis, signed a statement calling for mitigating the risk of extinction from AI, a global priority alongside pandemics and nuclear war. Elon Musk puts the chance of AI annihilating humans at 20%.
Wow. So they're selling us a dream, but also saving us from a nightmare they're potentially creating. That's quite a marketing strategy if you think about it.
It really is. The comparison to a conspiracy theory isn't about calling it false, but about recognizing the patterns. Conspiracy theories often offer the promise of a better future if you uncover hidden truths, or salvation from some impending horror. AGI, in its most extreme narratives, checks those boxes. It's flexible enough to sustain belief, regardless of timelines or setbacks, always just around the corner, always world-changing.
And the idea that it's moved from the fringes to the mainstream, like some conspiracy theories do?
A perfect parallel. Back in the early 2000s, talking about AGI in serious AI circles would get you eye rolls, as one of DeepMind's co-founders, Shane Legg, recounted. It was a dirty word to many. Ben Goertzel, who helped popularize the term, was considered a fringe figure.
So, how did it go from fringe to the talk of boardrooms and the subject of multi-billion-dollar investments?
A few key things. Goertzel started an annual AGI conference, giving it academic legitimacy. Then, when Shane Legg co-founded DeepMind with Demis Hassabis and Mustafa Suleyman, they carried the term with them. Suddenly, a mainstream corporate entity was openly talking about AGI. That gave it a massive boost in credibility.
And Peter Thiel and Elon Musk got involved early, right?
Absolutely. Thiel, a major power broker, was influenced by Goertzel and also by Eliezer Yudkowsky, who became a leading voice for the doomer perspective, warning of AGI's catastrophic potential. Yudkowsky's ideas were amplified by Nick Bostrom's book Superintelligence, which was read by Musk and Gates. This blend of utopian hope and existential dread caught the attention of very powerful people.
So the fear angle actually helped push it into the mainstream too.
It did. It added a sense of urgency and gravity. Thiel, along with Musk, became instrumental in setting up OpenAI, explicitly founded to build AGI and make it safe. OpenAI, now the most valuable private company in the world, literally has AGI as its singular ambition. So yes, the conspiracy moved from the desert to the boardroom.
That's wild to think about. This idea of a smarter-than-human machine that can do it all isn't really a technology. It's a dream, unmoored from reality, as the article puts it. It's almost impossible to debunk, because everyone has a different definition, or no definition at all.
Exactly. What is human-level intelligence? Is it the average person, or a genius? And for what tasks? Without a clear, agreed-upon definition, it becomes a moving target. It allows for both the saving humanity and killing humanity narratives to coexist, because the underlying concept is so malleable.
So what's the takeaway from this conspiracy theory angle? Are we saying AGI isn't coming, or that we shouldn't believe the hype?
Not at all. It's more about critical thinking. The article isn't dismissing the incredible advancements in AI, nor saying AGI is impossible. It's urging us to question the narrative, the grand pronouncements, the often contradictory claims from its biggest proponents, and the immense financial and societal capital being poured into a concept that remains vaguely defined. It's about being savvy investors and informed citizens, not just believers.
So for investors, it's a double whammy. Not only do you have to figure out which companies will be genuinely disrupted or resilient, but you also have to filter out the noise, the utopian and dystopian visions that might cloud your judgment.
Precisely. The arrival of something like AGI, whenever it happens, will be monumental. But the discussion around it, the expectations, the feeling the AGI sentiment, that's a phenomenon in itself. Savvy investors and critical thinkers need to look past the myth-making and focus on the tangible, the infrastructure, the irreplaceable assets, and the foundational human needs that will persist no matter how smart our machines become.
That's a powerful thought to leave our listeners with, Jane. It's a reminder that even in the most technologically advanced discussions, human judgment and a healthy dose of skepticism are still invaluable. Thanks for shedding light on both sides of this AGI coin.
My pleasure, Bob. It's a conversation that's only going to get louder, so staying informed and thinking critically will be key to navigating the age of AGI, whether it's next year or 10 years.